What would it be like if no matter what was going on in the world, you could remain unfazed? This is what Stoic philosophy embodies, and the promise of Stoicism is that you will be able to create a tranquil life and one that is within harmony with nature. This pursuit is achieved by using what the Stoics called using divine reasoning, which allows us to architect what they believe to be a balanced life. Sounds pretty good, right? Out of all the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius is by far the most famous and the most praised, and he's become really popular because of his personal journal that was translated into a book called Meditations. Marcus Aurelius was known for being one of the greatest rulers, one of the greatest emperors of all time. And during his rule is actually when he was writing the Meditations. And in his journal, during his most turbulent time alive, Marcus details and accounts what he believes makes a good life. And Stoicism has been such a powerful tool, such a powerful resource for me to always come back to when things are tough. It allows me to stay grounded. It allows me not to take a victim mentality, and it allows me to be grateful for what I have. And so I decided that it might be a good idea to just go a bit deeper into the Stoic philosophy and sort of parse out some of the main ideas or principles that Marcus Aurelius practiced in his evening routine. Because I don't know about you, when I'm in a good evening routine, I'm gonna hit my morning routine no matter what. So I'm gonna do Marcus Aurelius's evening routine for the next 7 days, and I'm gonna share with you the different practices that he had every single night that allowed him to think and be the amazing man that he was. So the first thing that Marcus Aurelius would do would be to eliminate external stimuli and to disconnect. Number 2 was to get some physical exercise. Number 3 was to review your day. Number 4 was to contemplate the daily sage. Number 5 was to take a view from above. And number 6, prepare for the mornings. He believed in taking time to retreat within oneself, within one's mind, to renew and restore oneself. He did this to lower his stress and remove any negative emotions that might be left over from the day. External stimuli is anything outside yourself that can influence the way that you think or the way that you feel. He often used this time to seek stillness, and what that looked like was meditation, or breath work, or journaling. So for modern day, what I'm gonna do is I am going to get off my phone, I'm gonna get off technology, and I will retreat to my room, and I will turn down the lights, and I will do those things that Marcus Aurelius did, meaning I will meditate, and I will do breath work, and I will journal, and I will contemplate within my own mind and shut out the outside world so that there is no external influences. When it comes to physical exercise, the Stoics believe that the value inherently came from what it did to develop your character, what exercise not does to your body necessarily, but what it does to your mind. They saw it as an amazing vehicle to cultivate certain values that they saw as useful. They believed that these characteristics like perseverance and confidence and self-improvement and discipline and all these different traits could be developed through exercise. The value inherently lies in who you become. These are rituals that would cultivate greater self-mastery, that would help further their purpose and support living in more accordance with nature. And that if you worked out, that you would sleep better at night. For me, what this looks like today in modern day is I exercise in the morning and during the day, but I decided to add an evening walk right when I'm going to start shifting things and transferring them into my evening routine. So I will put the phone away and I will go for an evening walk. And the reason why I do this is because I don't want to exercise too much to the point where it raises my core body temperature and my heart rate, because I know that's going to impact my sleep. But it's a great way to bookend my night and to start the process of winding down and to reflect on the day, to let any emotions drift off in the walk and clear my head before I go into my introspection. Marcus Aurelius, not so dissimilar than the other Stoics, believed in the process of reflection and reviewing your day so that you can understand if you are acting in accordance with the man or the person that you're trying to become. This is very much a mindfulness exercise in helping you develop more self-awareness and going through your day moment by moment and really analyzing and looking into your choices and your decisions and seeing if you are doing what you say you are going to do, and seeing how your day went. Did you actually follow through on what you told yourself you were supposed to be doing? So what this looks like for me practically is just having a journal and going through my day and writing out, all right, what happened? What were the major decisions that I made? Did I like the outcomes of those decisions? What drew me to those decisions? Why did I decide to do that? And then really reviewing and taking stock, is this what I want to be doing going forward? If I were to project these decisions out 1,000 days in advance, would it lead me to a place where I would be happy with the result? If the answer is no, then I will write down what I think I should do next time, and hopefully the next day I will act in accordance with what I'm telling myself I should be doing. So a sage is someone that we look up to, or someone that we want to model, a role model. And Marcus Aurelius' sage was a man named Zeno, who was the creator of the Stoic philosophy. And so he would often ask himself this question: what would Zeno do? So each night when I journal, after I review my day, I'm going to ask myself, am I acting in accordance with the man that I am trying to become, and with my idols, the people that I look up to? Am I doing what they would have done if they were in my shoes? And what this helps me do is it helps give me perspective, and it helps me borrow from their wisdom, helps me borrow from their expertise, and it's kind of a way that I can self-coach, so I can really evaluate if I'm living up to the standard that I believe that I should be living through. And if not, I can give myself some coaching points, and I can give myself some advice from a third-party perspective without actually having that third party. So not so dissimilar to the previous routine. When you zoom out, it gives you greater context. So zoom out from your room to your house, then zoom out from your house to your town, then from your town to your city, then from your city to your country, and you can keep continuing and going further and further away to get greater and greater context to your problems. And what this allows you to do is really see that your problems are not that big of a deal. As Marcus Aurelius put, this gives us greater objectivity, and it allows us to detach our emotions from our challenges. And when we see the challenges of others next to us, it can give us empathy to know that what we're going through may not be as bad as we think it is. But when we see ourselves not as individuals, but as a part of a greater whole, it makes our world much, much bigger. So what that looks like for me is taking a much greater look at my problems from that perspective, and really contextualizing what is going on in my life in the grand scheme of things. This last one is all about seizing the day and squeezing the juice out of every moment that you can. Carpe diem, in a sense, making sure that you're being as effective and as efficient as possible. So the practice of preparing for mornings was all about being clear on what you are going to achieve tomorrow and what could possibly go wrong, and planning for those outcomes as well. So what this looks like for me is just simply planning out on paper, what are my key objectives that I'm going to be focusing on? What are the projects that are currently going on in my life? And then also, what am I grateful for? What would make tomorrow great? So I want to share with you what I have been experiencing over the course of the last couple days as I've been practicing Marcus Aurelius's evening routine and using these 6 rituals every night. So the first thing that I noticed was how quiet life became. I did not realize how much noise I really had in my life. And I've talked about this on the channel before. As you may or may not know, I love sleep optimization, and I talk a lot about improving your sleep. And my biggest vice, my biggest challenge, despite the fact that I get insanely good sleep, was really my phone. And for whatever reason, I could not break the phone addiction, especially late at night. I would just find myself, for whatever reason, caught up on something on my phone. And so this particular practice of disconnecting has been insanely valuable to me, because I noticed that when I get rid of the noise, life is so much more calm, life is so much more still, life is so much more easy and pleasant, and there's so much flow. And I don't know how else to explain it other than it's just quiet. I love it. I'm really enjoying it. And I didn't really understand how much I was missing out on by being tied to the screen all the time. When you have nothing to take up your attention and you have to just be with yourself, you will be surprised what comes up. I really feel like I'm learning about myself. I am getting to know myself in many ways, as weird as that sounds, but it's hard to know yourself when you're always putting in other people's influences and inputs. And sometimes that is not always comfortable to be with yourself. And I totally understand that, but there is so much value that I am finding in just that one principle alone. Number two is I was never someone who was into journaling. I never got it. I never saw the value in journaling, and it was just one of those things that I was like, that's not for me. And I think the reason why that is because I didn't have a good prompt, question prompt or journal prompt to guide my process. There was no structure that I could really go to. And using these practices that Marcus Aurelius used in his evening routine is transformative, because what it is for me is a feedback loop. It allows me to really evaluate myself and really put myself on blast and see, am I really being the man that I want to be? And I truly believe that if we don't reflect and we don't have any source of feedback, then we will keep going through the motions and we will continue to lie to ourselves, and we can keep ourselves stuck if we don't actually see the ramifications of our behavior. After you write something down more than a couple times, you're like, man, this is a pattern. I want to change this. I don't want this to be the way that I am. And so for me, it's been so powerful to just have that self-analysis, just that self-evaluation. Am I doing what I said I wanted to do? And if not, why? The third biggest thing that I've noticed that's an absolute game changer is how well I am sleeping. Since starting this routine, I have never experienced so much ease of falling asleep. I can't stay awake if I wanted to. I'm falling asleep so early just because my mind and my body is relaxing so much. Every night after I do my journal and I do my meditation and I do the breath work, it's like I couldn't stay awake if I wanted to. And I know that a lot of people have problems with sleep. I know a lot of people have challenges getting ready for bed, falling asleep, staying asleep. And in my experience, this routine has made it impossible to be hard to fall asleep. If that makes any sense, if you follow that. Sometimes you see these videos on YouTube where people talk about, I did so-and-so's routine for this long and it's changing my life. And I genuinely did not expect anything major to come from this little 7-day experiment. And I can safely say that I'm so happy that I did, and it's actually giving me a lot to think about. And I'm going to continue some of these practices for a very, very long time, the foreseeable future, because I am extracting so much value from them. So I would encourage you to give some of these a try. So if you like these types of videos, I'm gonna be doing my next evening routine video. I'm gonna put it up here, wherever it may be. So go check out that video and subscribe if you like this type of content, biohacking, sleep optimization, general lifestyle tips to help you improve your well-being. And don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you in that next video, wherever it is. Take care.